Let me tell you something. You know, around my part of town, we always like to say how it's great to be in the Empire today. But you know what? It's also great for another empire out there. We're talking about the Galactic Empire in Star Wars Galaxies, where Moff Gideon, the OG Gideon, before they decided to get bajillions of clones of themselves, is able to solo some incredibly powerful teams. I'm talking Gideon soloing the Gungans and many other tools and tricks that he's got going on. Let's get chatting. This is something you really don't want to miss, people. So let's break down what the heck is going on. We are currently in our new Ezra Bridger Exile Conquest grind, which also brings a brand new Datacron set. Granted, not as nutty of a Datacron set as the purple ones, which is probably a good thing, but nonetheless, there are still very powerful ones, as we're going to describe. So powerful where CG Capital Games might be nerfing this. So at the time of the recording, this is not nerfed. It's still going on. If they do happen to nerf this, I will leave a pinned comment. I will change the video title so you don't waste your time and effort. But it's a Datacron related thing. And CG, they love their Datacrons and they want people pushing for this stuff. So just keep in mind, they're investigating a possible pretty much never-ending Terminator loop. But there are ways to slow it down, as we're going to show with some gameplay. So Gideon, you're going to need him at Relic 5 to pull off this Datacron specific counter. Unfortunately, the gods of RNG, thanks a lot, they haven't bestowed me with the luck I needed to get the Gideon Cron yet. Hopefully, as I push more and more into Conquest for Ezra, I'll end up getting it. Time will tell. I'll be really sad if I don't get this. So let's start off the recipe for success here. Number one, you need your level 9 Moff Gideon Datacron, which you farm through Conquest. And again, you don't need money to get Datacrons. You don't need to spend money. You do need to put some effort into Conquest if you want to get Datacrons, which is a whole other problem. If you don't like Conquest, well, you're probably not going to get Datacrons by extension then. But let's read what happens here. Whenever Moff Gideon is inflicted with a debuff or gains a buff, he gains a stack of insight and stealths for 1 turn. Very important. Whenever he gains 4 stacks of insight, he gains 100% turn meter. And whenever an Imperial ally is afflicted with a debuff, they recover 10% health and protection. Whenever an enemy is inflicted with armor shred, blind all enemies for 1 turn, which can't be evaded or resisted. And incredibly important here, whenever he uses Subversive Volley, he deals massive bonus damage to all enemies. This is crazy, which can't be evaded. So basically what we need to do, we need to make sure Gideon's getting a variety of buffs or debuffs so he can get those 4 stacks of insight to get 100% turn. But the good news is we're already kind of being helped out, because anytime he's getting a buff or debuff, he's also gaining stealth. So you really need only like 3 other buffs in order for him to kind of create this loop situation. This isn't going to be that hard of a thing to pull off here, as we're going to see, because if you hop over to the level 3, this is going to be very important. You know, most Datacrons, you don't need like the perfect, set. You just need like one right level 6 or right level 9. There's kind of a perfect order here, and this is incredibly important. Right here, whenever dark side allies use a special ability, which we're going to be doing it all the time, we're going to get evasion up, health steal up, health up for 2 turns. Well, what do you know? That's 3 buffs. And as we just saw, whenever we gain a buff or debuff, we're going to get insight. That's 3 stacks of insight right there. We also get stealth, which is another buff, which gives us another stack of insight. So right there, you kind of have that perfect scenario to let Gideon keep getting all the buffs so he can keep getting 100% turn meter. Now we have the level 6 here. The level 3 and the level 9 are way more important. You kind of have dealer's choice in this regard. You can maybe get, I don't know, you can do the 100% critical chance, critical avoidance. Again, what's most important is that level 3 and that level 9. That is incredibly important. You can also go for this one right here, the special ability, you gain alert, so you get more buffs on top of you, which is fine. But again, level 3, level 9, level 6, you get some flexibility, but level 3, level 9 is a must-have. So, as we just discussed here, you get all your insight really quickly with those 3 buffs on the level 3 and the stealth. So this pretty much means you're gonna be in perpetual buff heaven, perpetual 4 stacks of insight. And Subversive Volley, it's kind of a first for us. There's no cooldown on Subversive Volley. If you're perpetually at 4 stacks of insight, that means you can use this ability all the time, which is going to lead into our gameplay where he's going to nonstop in certain conditions take back-to-back turns, nuking out the enemy team. And boy, It's a beautiful thing. Now, I'm assuming, you know, a lot of you guys know how to mod Moff Gideon. He's probably one of the simpler characters to mod well because you just got to make him fast. But in case you guys need maybe a little mod refresher on the guy, or maybe you're newer to the game, here are the modding recommendations. For the OG Moff Gideon right here, you need to make him fast. 360 is kind of the minimum you really want to shoot to make him competitive in most things in this game. And really, you just need a speed set. Whatever other secondary sets you have, it doesn't matter. He wants speed. This is one of those characters where you really can't go wrong with a lot of speed. You want more. Sometimes more is the merrier here. And now, without further ado, let's go hop over to our Grand Arena Coliseum and show you the gameplay in action. So we have a variety of gameplay, starting off with Wigged, W-I-G-E-D, one of our Kyber Club viewers. I might be butchering your name. This gameplay was sent to me by them. I'm assuming it's their gameplay right here. And as you're seeing, look at this. Back to back to back to back turns that we're basically getting over and over again, where we keep having subversive volley and we're doing incredible mass damage. I'm looping the gameplay so you guys can see, because if you blink, you're going to miss here. But as you can see, with that level 3 and that level 9 in perfect sync with one another, he is basically able to get nonstop subversive volley because there's no cooldown in it. And as we know, with the Datacron, as we read, massive damage each and every time, being able to completely nuke out things like the Gungans. So you can possibly understand why Capital Games might want to nerf it, but they let their Datacrons go crazy. So time will tell if they do anything. Check this out right here. Here's some gameplay provided by Pimpo from here on out. They had the Gideon Datacron. Check it out. Queen Amidala. You guys know she causes some problems. She should be maybe a little bit more manageable now that the Padawan Obi-Wan Datacron set's going away. But you have Short Trooper to eat up that first opening play from that swarm attack. You have Wat Tambor providing buffs at the opening play for Gideon, and also making sure we have a way to cleanse off the debuffs with that tank tech. And eventually you get rolling with the back to back to back to back to back turns. Here's another example right here. Again, start off, get that tank tech on, especially with the buff immunity Datacron that the enemies currently have with that support stuff. You need to get that buff immunity off so you can get the buffs and start rolling your train. And as you see, straight from the get-go, we're able to get that opening play, get that subversive volley, and now we start going back to back to back. Another round. Do it one more time for me. So this is going to be a massive power trip for the Imperial troopers. And I mean, there's probably other ways of utilizing this, as we're going to see. Here's some more gameplay provided by Pimpo in other capacities, such as going up against Lord Vader, you know, with Dark Tier Moff Gideon. What I fear, though, is seeing OG Gideon with his Datacron on defense, because if you don't have anything that shuts down turn meter, this is going to be incredibly annoying, because he's just going to get the back to back to back to back turns, 100% turn meter. But it could be prevented by things like Lord Vader's damage over time. It could slow down Gideon. You're not going to get the perfect back to back to back play. Master Kenobi should prevent this as well. He has anti-turn meter established within his kit. You have many other ways of stopping him, like Hux's advantage. He can also shut down this particular trick. Not to say it's gonna stop him from working, because as you see right here, Lord Vader's trying to slow down Gideon, but we're gonna end up stealing a pretty massive win in this regard as well. So this is gonna be kind of a big deal for a variety of scenarios out there, because remember, yes, you can do back-to-back, so you know, the volleys over and over again, but you also are going to get a ton of turn meter. You can maybe do control the situation quite a lot as well, but that is on a cooldown, unlike subversive volley. But in some situations, if you feel like the enemy is about to take a turn, pull back their turn meter and keep your train moving along with the subversive volley over and over and over again. So Imperial Troopers of Veers is going to love it. You have some solo opportunities that you could probably get it done as well. Being able to, again, there's not a lot of teams that can eat up back-to-back massive damage. 100,000 damage to everyone over and over again. That's going to be taking down a lot of Galactic Legends, you know, such as this one that we have right here. That Queen Amidala team that's been kind of annoying for a lot of people to handle. It's nice having these options, I guess, at your disposal, especially for a character a lot of you guys have up and running for a while now. The only downside of Gideon, you know, a lot of people don't have that incentive to gear him up because he's great at low gear, right? And he's not really needed yet, I suppose, for any specific legendary, which requires me like Relic 5, 7, 8, 9, whatever the case may be. So the biggest drawback, like my free-to-play account, I don't have him up and running to a higher relic count. but there are going to be some battles where problems could arise. Now, what I wish I could show, again, I'm gonna need to wait until whenever I get the Datacron, which, you know, sometimes the RNG gods laugh upon me and they don't give me what I want. And some seasons I don't get some of these good Datacrons, which really sucks. What I would love to see potentially is what would a Gideon solo look like against some of these Galactic Legends. Like if you could do a Gideon solo up against the Eternal, he can't link you. And as we're gonna see here in a moment, Sith Eternal is eventually gonna get up and running, pop his insta-kill on the Gideon here. So we'll have to wait and see if there's any sort of way to get more solo opportunities. Obviously, you can't probably solo Supreme Leader Kylo Ren because, well, he's gonna stun your Gideon straight off the get-go. But things like Sith Eternal, potentially, you might have a good chance at getting out there. Boom. And again, the nice thing about the Subversive Volley, boom, look at that. 99,000 damage on everyone. But as you kind of move along here, you start seeing, oh, okay, we're kind of running into a problem here, you know, because Sith Eternal's kind of able to keep up with us. That control the situation was kind of an issue because we weren't able to yank back that Terminator from him, and eventually Sith Eternal is going to be popping a big hit. But here, you got some blind, but yeah, that ultimate ability, yeah, you can't really eke away from that. We have another battle here. This one did get kind of close with the win potentially, but if we move ahead forward, we have another one, same drill. Eventually you get that perp. Look at that. Look at all those buffs that he has. He has the stealth, all that other good stuff. That's provided in that level 3 here. And again, you just start subversive volleying, keep hitting him. But eventually, again, Sith Eternal ends up getting the insta kill, nuking him out. But again, I want to just kind of roll back here for one more time. This right here shows the power that Gideon has. Being able to get out there and just get that perfect combo where he's getting all those buffs over and over and over again from the level 9, from the level 3. Being able to solo a Gungan team, that is no joke. It's always funny how the cycle Datacrons work, right? The new teams, they're crazy powerful. They also have crazy Datacrons. And then once like 2 Datacron sets pass by, they're like, all right, your time's up. Get out of here. So they're giving us some powerful tools to handle the Queen Amidalas, and as well as to handle these pesky little Gungans out there. So people, I get it. You know, Datacron's been here for a while. But if you're doing Conquest to even some mild degree, you got to do your feats. Make sure you're doing your feats on the treasure nodes. So that way you can try to farm some of these Datacrons as you're moving along. But that's going to wrap it up for today, people. OG Gideon, he is truly going to be taking names and he will be controlling that situation inside of Grand Arena. Guys, thank you so much for stopping by. Leave your thoughts down below. And man, oh man, let's just say this. This is kind of the first of many other solid Datacrons that we're gonna have this season. So leave that like, comment down below, subscribe so you're not missing a thing, and the most important thing, always remember that it's great to be in the Empire today.